The trembling in Harold Thompson's hands wasn't from old age. It was from 2 years of abandonment that had broken his heart in ways that 72 years of living had never prepared him for. When he looked up at Gordon Ramsay with eyes that held the crushing weight of family betrayal and whispered, "My children put me in a nursing home and haven't visited once in 2 years," the entire MasterChef kitchen fell silent. But what he said next, about why he came to this competition as his final desperate attempt to prove he was still worth loving, would leave Gordon Ramsay in tears and remind us all that growing old in America can be the loneliest journey imaginable. The cameras kept rolling, but this was no longer about culinary skills or winning prizes. This was about a forgotten father who had discovered that the children he had sacrificed everything to raise could discard him when caring for him became inconvenient. It started as the most intense elimination challenge of the season. 6 contestants remained, each fighting desperately for their place in the semifinals. Gordon Ramsay commanded the gleaming kitchen with his signature authority, his energy focused on separating the truly dedicated from those who merely hope to survive. Today's elimination challenge will test your ability to cook under the most intense pressure, Gordon announced. You have 90 minutes to create a restaurant-quality dish that proves you deserve to stay in this competition. Harold Thompson stood at Station 4, a man who looked every one of his 72 years, but carried himself with dignity earned through a lifetime of hard work. His silver hair was neatly combed, his chef's whites pressed clean, but there was something in his eyes, a profound sadness that seemed to weigh down his entire frame. What the cameras couldn't capture was that Harold was fighting for more than a place in the semifinals. He was fighting for proof that his life had mattered, that perhaps if his children saw him succeed on national television, they might remember he was worth visiting, worth calling, worth loving. Harold had raised 4 children as a single father after their mother died in a car accident. He had worked double shifts at the factory, learned to braid his daughter's hair, attended every school play and baseball game, sacrificed his own dreams for theirs. For 30 years, his life had been devoted to giving them everything he never had. 2 years ago, when his arthritis made living alone difficult, those same children made a decision that shattered his world. They put him in Sunset Manor nursing home and walked away. Since then, he hadn't received a single visit, barely any phone calls, and was slowly accepting that the people he'd devoted his life to had simply forgotten him. Your time starts now. Harold moved slowly toward the pantry, selecting ingredients for his mother's meatloaf recipe, the same dish he had made for his children every Sunday for 20 years. It was family history made edible, love expressed through simple ingredients and patient technique. But as Harold began preparation, the weight of 2 years without family contact pressed down on him. His hands shook as he mixed the meat, not from physical ailment, but from wondering if his children ever thought about him, if they missed the Sunday dinners he used to cook. "Harold," Gordon called during his rounds, "what's your strategy today?" Harold looked up, and Gordon saw something that caught his attention, not nervousness, but a deeper pain beyond the kitchen. "My mother's meatloaf recipe, Chef," Harold replied. "It's what I used to make for my family every Sunday for 20 years. "Used to?" Gordon asked, picking up on the past tense. "Don't you cook for them anymore?" Harold's pause was too long, his smile too forced. "Things change when you get older, Chef. Families get busy with their own lives." 30 minutes into the challenge, Harold struggled with memories each familiar step brought flooding back. Every time he seasoned the meat, he remembered his children asking to help. Every time he shaped the loaf, he thought about them setting the table while chattering about their days. Those children were now adults with families of their own, with busy lives that apparently had no room for the man who had given up everything to raise them. 45 minutes remaining. Harold was placing his meatloaf in the oven when grief hit him. He hadn't spoken to Linda in 8 months. Michael had visited twice in 2 years, staying less than an hour both times. David lived 30 minutes away, but hadn't returned calls in over a year. Sarah had stopped coming after the first month, claiming seeing him in the nursing home was too depressing. The irony was crushing. Harold had spent 30 years making sure his children never felt abandoned, and now he experienced both emotions every day, wondering if this was how he would spend whatever years remained, forgotten and irrelevant. 30 minutes remaining. Harold tried to focus on his side dishes, but his hands shook more noticeably, vision blurring with tears. He felt disconnected from the competition energy, cooking in a memory when this food had meant something, when people he loved gathered around his table with appreciation and joy. 15 minutes remaining. Harold began plating with the same care he had used when his children were young, when presentation showed love. But the cruel irony overwhelmed him. Here he was on national television, cooking for judges who would taste and critique his food, while the 4 people he had spent his life cooking for couldn't be bothered to visit even on holidays. 5 minutes. Harold was placing final garnish when something inside him broke completely. 2 years of suppressed emotion burst open, and he began crying, deep, wrenching sobs of a man who had accepted that the children he devoted his life to had thrown him away when caring for him became inconvenient. Time, hands up, step back. Harold stepped back, unable to stop crying. His meatloaf looked perfect, exactly like the hundreds he had made with love for his family, but he realized no one who had ever truly loved this dish would ever taste it again. Gordon approached Harold's station, tasting the meatloaf thoughtfully. His expression showed genuine appreciation for the simple, honest comfort food executed with decades of skill. "Harold, this is excellent," Gordon said gently. "The seasoning is perfect, and it tastes exactly like the kind of meatloaf that makes people feel loved and cared for." Harold nodded through tears, unable to speak. "But I can see you're very upset," Gordon continued. "This clearly means more to you than just a competition dish. Can you tell us why this recipe is so important?" That's when Harold looked up with eyes holding 2 years of abandonment and spoke the words that would stop the competition. "I made this every Sunday for my 4 children for 20 years, Chef. After their mother died, it was our tradition, our way of staying connected as a family." Harold's voice broke completely. "But my children put me in a nursing home 2 years ago, and they haven't visited me once, not once. I thought if I could get on this show, if they could see me doing something important, maybe they would remember that I'm still their father." The kitchen fell completely silent. Gordon's expression shifted from professional interest to deep shock, and then to controlled anger, not at Harold, but at the unconscionable situation. "What do you mean they haven't visited you?" Gordon asked, his voice tight with emotion. Harold's response came in broken phrases. "Linda lives in California, says it's too expensive to visit. Michael lives 20 minutes away, but is always too busy with work and his kids. David won't return my calls, and Sarah says seeing me in the nursing home makes her too sad, so it's better if she doesn't come." The silence was deafening. Everyone was understanding they were witnessing devastating, familial abandonment. "I worked double shifts for 30 years to give them everything," Harold continued, words pouring out like water through a broken dam. "I never remarried because I wanted to focus on being the best father I could be. I helped them through college, through difficulties. I thought family meant something." Harold looked directly at the camera, as if speaking to his absent children. "I came here because I wanted them to see that their father is still capable of something good, that maybe I'm still worth loving." Everyone in the kitchen was crying. Harold had articulated a nightmare. Millions of elderly Americans live daily, being discarded by children they sacrificed everything to raise. Behind the scenes, Gordon made a decision that would change everything. "Stop the cameras," Gordon said firmly. For 15 minutes, what happened existed outside television, only human compassion responding to abandonment. When cameras resumed, something had changed. "Harold," Gordon said, "what your children have done is unconscionable. You deserved better. This meatloaf tastes like decades of love, like a father who put his children first every day." Harold listened with desperate attention. He hadn't heard validation in 2 years. "Harold, you're safe from elimination tonight," Gordon announced. "But more importantly, your worth isn't determined by whether your children visit you. Your value as a human being doesn't depend on their recognition." What happened next was unprecedented. Every contestant surrounded Harold with genuine respect and affection. he hadn't experienced since the nursing home. "Mr. Harold," said Jennifer, taking his hands, "would you teach me this recipe? I want to make it for my father this weekend." "You're coming to dinner at my house next Sunday," added Marcus. "My grandmother would love to meet you." One by one, everyone made heartfelt commitments, ensuring Harold would never feel forgotten again. "Today, we've learned that family isn't just about blood relations," Gordon announced. "Family is about people who show up, who care, who remember that every person deserves love and respect." The episode became a catalyst for conversations about elder care. Nursing homes reported increased visits. Adult children examined relationships with aging parents. But perhaps most importantly, the episode reminded viewers that behind every cheerful facade might be someone forgotten by family, wondering if they still matter. Harold never felt abandoned again. Between new friendships from MasterChef, cooking classes he began teaching, and the community that formed around him, he found purpose and connection. The MasterChef family became his chosen family, proving that sometimes people who choose to love you matter more than those who are supposed to. Today, Harold runs a program called Golden Meals, connecting isolated seniors with volunteer families for weekly dinners. His cookbook became a bestseller, with proceeds going to programs fighting senior loneliness. Above his kitchen hangs a photo from that MasterChef episode, Harold with his perfect meatloaf, surrounded by the community that formed around his pain and transformed it into purpose. Because that's what Harold Thompson taught everyone that night, that the most important ingredient in any meal isn't listed in recipes. It's connection, caring, and the knowledge that someone values your presence enough to share not just food, but genuine human warmth. If you enjoyed this meaningful story, you can watch more heartwarming videos like this one on our channel. Subscribe to stay updated with stories that remind us about the importance of treating our elders with the love and respect they deserve.